Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and today we're going to be getting into Seagull watches again. I got a couple of new Seagull watches about a month ago. I did not do a video on them at the time. Some other stuff happened, and they kind of got overlooked. So I just got another new model in from them. I said, you know what? Let's do a video. It'll be a 3-watch video. And what makes 2 of them interesting is that they are under the 40 millimeter mark. And what makes the 3rd one interesting is that it's probably the one Seagull that everyone's requested that I was never able to get, and I was finally able to get a bunch. It's their military watch. Anyway, let's head on over to the table and, oh, I'm sorry. I know you guys really go nuts over the wrist checks if I miss them. So I'm still doing the Presage and the Orient. What was this? The Speedster? No, this was something else. Rally. This was the Orient Rally watch. I would get the names confused. This is an older, well discontinued watch. Okay, let's head on over and check them out. Okay, so here are the 3 watches side by side. I've got the 2 smaller ones and then the larger military, appropriately named tank watch actually, in the middle. We'll start with this guy and then we'll move on to the outer 2. So this is the appropriately named tank watch, and you'll see why in a minute. It's the Seagull Military Field Watch, model number D813.581. Probably the most requested watch from us since we started carrying the brand. We're finally able to get some of them in. This is the one in the stainless steel case, and the green dial and the green strap. This comes from Seagull in China from their factory, Tianjian Watch Company, which has been around for many, many years, I believe since the 50s or even earlier. At one time, and probably still today, actually one of the largest producers of mechanical watch movements. Usually their watch movements do not find their way into Seagull watches, they find their way into a host of other watches with inexpensive automatic movements. But Seagull themselves only takes their highest quality, best movements for use in their watches. So let's get into this one here. So it's a nice size. It's a 44 millimeter diameter watch. It's around 13.25 millimeters thick. And it is 51 on the tip to tip. The lugs do, come down nicely. So it's actually not as long on the tip to tip as you'd expect a 44 millimeter watch. It is a 24 millimeter lug. Solid screw down case back, as you saw. Oh, and look, that's why they call it the tank watch. It's got the an engraving of a tank on it. Makes sense. Sapphire crystal, so it's a scratch resistant sapphire crystal. Water resistance is 50 meters, and we'll zoom in on the dial, but you can see it clearly says China made, which is, kind of one of their battle cries. It is powered by Seagull's ST2553 automatic movement. It hand winds, so we can wind it to get it started up. There it goes. And you pull out the crown to set the time. The seconds hand stops, so it is hacking. You have a date here at the 3 o'clock, obviously quite simple. But just, what it has in simplicity is basically what's there for it to be a field watch. Easy to read, big hands, nice contrast on the dial, beautifully done case. I don't know what that says. Someone, I'm guessing, will chime in below and let me know what that says. I'll try to, if somebody wants to look at all these watches and tell me what all the markings say, I'm happy to pin the comment to the top at that time. Nice beefy lug protectors. Beautiful green canvas strap, leather backed. Nice signed Seagull buckle, you can see it. Just a really substantial watch, and you can see why it has popularity. There is lume. Let's do the lume shot. There you can see it. What can you say? It glows. You can see it. I'll pass my thumb over it. Very easy to read in the dark. Price on this is around $300. Which is a really good price when you think about it. Nice decent sized case, sapphire crystal, good pedigree. I know people say Chinese, China made Seagull, but this is different. This I've said it before in the other Seagull videos. This is a little bit different than your typical Chinese made watch. So let's zoom in on the dial and check it out. There you can see Seagull automatic Chinese military watch. Oh, since 1964. But I believe they did some other stuff in the 50s as well. China made, like I said earlier. Is the star on the back of the seconds hand with the red tip. It's a good little accent. See how the numbers stand off from the dial? So it's obviously not painted. Nice applied numbers. done extremely well. Let's zoom out and then we'll move on to the next one. So now we're into something that people have been asking for a long time, a much smaller watch. This is a reissue. Again, Seagull does a lot of reissues. And it's obviously a reissue. You can tell by looking at the style of the watch. It screams vintage, just like the third one I am going to show you. But not only does the styling scream vintage, so does the size. So it is 38 millimeters in diameter. It's 11 thick. It's 46 on the tip to tip. See how nice and squat that is? It looks nice, right? And it is a 20 millimeter lug. It has also a sapphire crystal, but it's got a little bit of a dome to it. I think you can see it there. Nice dome sapphire crystal. It has a nice solid screw down case back, and the official name of the reissue of this watch is the Dongfeng reissue. Again, it's a reissue of a watch that was out in the 60s. There is no lume on here. As you can see, it's pretty much a classic dress watch, if you will. It's powered by Seagull's TY2130, which the crown is small, so it's tough to do with gloves, but it hand winds and it hacks. There you go. The strap is lackluster, certainly in my opinion. It's, I believe the buckle is, unbranded, inexpensive strap. But the watch itself is really nice, and the price is $219. So $219 for a dress sapphire watch. Let's zoom in on that beautiful silver dial. You can see it's almost like a polished silver surface dial, silver applied markers, but not so much the fact that you can't read the watch. Everything on the watch is quite legible, and then that red seconds hand simply just pops off the dial and just provides just enough accent, just a little bit of an accent that you need. Flipping it around a bit. Really cool, really sweet. I was glad to see that they came out with something in the more easier to wear market, if you will, because as you guys know, many watches are still large, and it's taking companies a long time to switch back to the realm of the sub 40 market. Oh, before we move on, let me just pull out the tag. I think I might have said the part number wrong. It is an FKDF, and that price that you see, that's Chinese yuan. It's not US dollars. It basically gets into the $219 price I talked about earlier, which brings me to the last one. So the last one we're going to look at is the FKWY. This time I'll show you the tag in the beginning. Same price, around $219. Same size specs, around 38 millimeters in diameter, 11 thick, 46 tip to tip, a slightly domed sapphire crystal, so no scratching there, 20 millimeter lug. It is powered by the Seagull TY2130 movement again, which is going to hand wind and hack. This time the strap, still lackluster. It is a brownish color. I guess that kind of matches more of the gold tone of the watch, which we'll get into in a second. Unbranded buckle. Water resistance is 50 meters. Let's zoom in on this dial and check this one out. So there you can see the dial. So whereas the other one was a silver, this is definitely more of a gold tinge on the dial. And then the hands are a much more solid yellow gold. Applied markers. Really looks nice. Simple date. Probably would have been cleaner without the date, in my opinion, but looks really cool. Really nice. Vintage styling. I guess when I look at it, I think warm. And I certainly think vintage because of the sizing on it. What I'm going to do now is I'll put one of these and then the green one on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, and you can check them out. So here it is on my 6 3/4 inch wrist, and you can see that with that domed crystal, I'm struggling with the reflections, but it fits fine. 46 tip to tip, and the small 38 millimeter on the case. This will fit, a wide variety of wrist. It's going to go down, maybe another 1/4 to 1/2 inch, maybe a 6 1/4 or so, 6 1/2, and then plenty of room on the upside. But I have a feeling if you picked up a watch like this, you're going to invest a little bit and hopefully upgrade the strap to something just with a little more panache to it. But no denying, for $219, automatic movement, sapphire crystal, small size. It really is, it's in the running. It runs itself against a lot of higher priced watches. And then the tank rolls into town, and it clearly is a tank. This thing is way too big for my wrist. I wear 44s every now and again in different styles, but for some reason, just the standing of this one I don't know. It doesn't really look right. It doesn't feel right. I mean, it's hanging over my wrist by a long shot. Maybe my wrist got smaller. I don't know, but this thing is way too big. But nice watch, simple, easy to read, clean. Just too big for me. You know, for a lot of you guys out there, though, I am below average. A lot of you guys out there, though, I think it will fit you just fine. So this has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com showing you some new selections from Seagull, including 2 sub 40 millimeter watches. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below, and I will be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.